to an OpenStreetMap type game, I have this question. Who are the best players? And who are the most valuable players? So you understand because I use the MVP. And for me, the MVP player are people that do a little bit more to the other. A little bit can be details, can be quality, maybe. I think everybody noticed, was present this morning. There is this power law behind the users. The contribute of the AV contributes in Wikipedia, but I think the same can be in OpenStreetMap, is 1% of people that are around. So I want to try to search, to discover the people in this 1% to do this. I'll find it. A common sense is a user is a good player if give many contributors on the map. This guy from Italy, Simone Cortese, I know very well, is one of the best contributors in OpenStreetMap. If I want, I try to plot all the data created by Simone, I have the complete Italy. And maybe. So I search in the page of Simone, I call it Simone, and I ask him why, and this is the solution. He started to import a lot of data, and I come back a little bit. If you look, there are some all in Sicily and other North Italy, because now the community in OpenStreetMap in Italy started to import a new border. And some people, like the people in Sicily, decide to destroy everything and recreate, because it's easy in Sicily. There is only the sea around. And then the other side, but the people now work about this. Okay, again, Simone. So what is the solution? Solution is restrict the query only to some details. To require local knowledge, experience, and recognition. So I think, I hope, and the result are from my side, but it's my point of view, so maybe are not so, that if I search this kind of key inside the data of a user, I can restrict the information only to a very knowledge about the territory. This is the case that I try to start, to find. If you, I don't want to read everything, but any kind of this key for me is something that I must know, or when I go to the location to understand what happened. I can't use, maybe I can't import if maybe a public administration open the data and have information about what I can put to the trash and other, if they are geolocated, okay. But if I restrict the data, again Simone, I have a lesser location. I have the location around on the left, Pavia, where Simone lives. I have the location here on the right, where Simone have a house for the vacation on the sea. I have this new location on the left, where Simone works now. And I have other points, for example, this close Napoli, that is the result of a mapping party. Like OpenStreetMap Italy, we created a mapping party for Pompeii, the ancient city. So I restricted the data, and I can say this is the data. So I can say that Simone is a good player because he imports a lot of data. Is also an MVP player because he cures on the he has some careful for some location. So I want to introduce the concept of pet location. It's a location that I have a great care as well as a lovable pet. I think everybody here are OpenStreetMap users, and I think everybody can tell us a story about some people that started to change some data in my pet location. In Trento, my city, 2 years ago, a funny man started to touch everything. Today I listen to this word tyrannic place, but he started to touch everything, and in the moment that he started to touch the pet location for some users, all the community of Trento started to ask, please ask with the other, so you can have more information. And again, my idea is always, if I have a pet location, I have a lot of care about this place, and I think the quality of the data can be very well. Sometime, with another guy from Trento, we have like a competition. In my city, create a lot of new street, and one day was a new tunnel, and after the day of the celebration, he drew the tunnel. The day later, I was with the GPS to have more quality. So. And there is this great application here on the right, where you can select area and have information about this. But I don't know if how many people use this system. I use it. But so I have this pet location. Or I can understand what is a pet location, what is the result of a mapping party. I count the number of edits in the time. If a pet location have a lot of frequency edits, I think the user have a good knowledge. There is always a mailbox that is not mapped. This is a sentence of my friend. But there are some places like the big city with a lot of population, where it's easy find new data. There are cities a little bit small, and maybe the data that I put are not so much, but if I love this place, every time I add some in this place. Sure, there are a little bit of noise in this kind of research. Okay, this is what you do. And I like this job because I remember the Linux law about this. So always about the quality. And I like what you do because in Italy we have some problems with Italy. Very nice. In my research on the data, I found that the first edit come from Germany, like before tourist. Okay, and where I am is close the border with Austria. A long time ago was Austria, so there are a lot of German people. And nice because the people from North Italy help the people of South Italy to improve the data in this moment. But this is another story. Crowd quality concept. This is very nice paper with Van Axel, and they speak about some information to understand the quality. The user create the data. So if the user create the data, if the user love the place, have a local knowledge, experience, and recognition, is a good user. This paper was a preliminary, so I am waiting for the rest because I know a framework about this. So I think my idea of MVP player can be this. Okay, now the tool. The tool is not completed, it is only a Python script that you invoke by command line and create the vectors. I imported the data from the XML, the classic XML of OpenStreetMap, and I use the spatial light. I use spatial light for a lot of reasons, but are not a very technical reason. There is one because I am very friend with the developer, and another because spatial light OSM-RO, a tool in spatial light, is very nice to import the data from the XML and maintain the same structure of the XML, because I need this information. Or I create a new parser, but I don't want to do this. So I import the data as is from XML to SQL. Later, with a lot of query, SQL query, I ask to spatialize information. I use NumPy to obtain more power, and I created these different vectors. The code is here. This is what do the spatial light OSM-RO. This is the table, okay? And if the people here know, is the structure of the XML is the same. And the geometry are only in the table of OSM nodes. Okay, I started as test in my land, Trentino Alto Adige. Why? Because I know the people, and I can speak with the people. Some people I don't need to speak because I know because I meet a lot of time, so I can understand if my idea can be right. Okay, if I put the data, this is the number of points the people created to create the map of Trentino Alto Adige. The data come from GeoFabric, Planet OSM, and the association GFOS.it. This is an association about geospatial, open source software. Every week I have the OSM file for each region of Italy, so I use this data. I plot the data, you can say, after my first query, I reduce the number of users and also number of points. Later I create a grid. I create a grid of 1 kilometer. In the script you can define how much is the grid, but I won't use 1 kilometer because for me, if I must collect data and I know the knowledge, 1 kilometer is a reasonable space. So I cross the data, I found everything, and for each user I have the point, the grid in every case. And to eliminate some users, I search only the activity in the last 3 months. So I reduce a lot of number of people, but I won't find the MVP again. After this, by a cluster system, very easy, I found the grid that are, the cells that are close. I find the location of each user. Together with the location, I add the days of activity on the location. And for me, there are the pet location. Now, it's very easy, and also very, very fast, because I can start with some analysis. This is a user, one of my friends. He lives close to Garda Lake. And on the left there is what for me is the pet location of Fabrizio. On the right, I changed the color, classified the data from 1 to 5 to understand what are the most intensity of edit in the time, during the time. And by speaking with Fabrizio, I know that he lives where is the red area. Is the pet location of Fabrizio, where he lives. And around are places where he goes on time. Very nice. If you look on the right, on the left, there are some orange area. Because from Garda Lake, he works in Trento, Nord. So you can do or on the right or on the left, because there is a mountain in the middle. And sometimes you go goes on the right, sometimes on the left, and collect data every time. Another guy that is here, Luca, he works in Trento, he lives in Genova, and after I plotted the data, I find like a road, and asked why a road, because I don't want to search the road, because the road maybe is digitalization, maybe come from my import data, and I asked to him, and he every week travel from Trento to Genova, and every time he's always in the same road, and stay with the GPS and say, today I collect the data like the trash, stop bus, and other. Another kind of analysis is find the overlap of different pet location. So if more are the users in our location, and more there is a possibility to have to understand if there is the new tyrannic that try to touch everything. And I started to create this little animation with that map. Okay, and thanks for the attention. If you have questions, I hope to understand your question, but.
Thank you, Maurizio. Where are the questions? Always back there.
The analysis that you run, is it on history files or is it just on the last edit for a particular data object? Yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry, yes. I can ask you from here because you want to have everything inside the microphone. For me, it's not hard to speak very loud, but I start from the last edit. I haven't used the history. I spend my free time during the day to find this. I say before, this is my first step in the magic world of the research about G-science, and I am here to learn by the other people if my idea is good or not good, if it's a good idea to go away in this direction. Okay. Other questions?
Thank you. It's a really interesting analysis. Is it something you imagine being able to be portable and usable by other people?
Again, this is my first step, and I put the source code online, so if somebody wants to change, modify, and other, there are offshore is a code to be well. I use a spatial light because my idea is also that the people can use this offline. I have my data, I create it and put, for example, I can create a plugin for QGIS so the people can use it inside QGIS if you want to have this. It's Python, so it's not so hard. But if I use SQLite, it's much better for me. It's much portable as you use PostGIS, because if you have PostGIS, you must create the complete stack and other. With SQLite, you have everything. And later, always if this is good, but I want to speak with the people of SM Matrix, maybe it can be one of the layers in SM Matrix, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, there was another question.
Suppose I am a mapper new to a certain area and I want to map some details but don't know what exactly is going on, and I'm afraid that I will hurt somebody in his feelings. Would your tool be usable to give information about what are the important users or what are the important issues in a certain region, or what is the maybe whose pet region it is?
I hope to understand your question. I hope, because okay. For me, the people can do error. There is a lot of noise, sure. The two talks before was the problem about the semantic of the tag. So for now, I answer only so. I look the key and I count the days. It's not so important the number of the edit. Because the number of the data, or I said before, if I live in a big city, I have a lot to put. If I live in a small city, for example, one of the guys that I know, always he works together with me, he has a pet location in a very small city, and now he is not in the map because he haven't put new data inside. I know there is problem like this, but I want to find only the 1% of the people in the big pyramid about the 1991. So it's enough.
I'm intrigued by the sets of tags you chose to do the analysis on, because earlier in the year I looked for tags which might indicate on-the-ground mapping, and the one I found and did a similar analysis was amenity equals pub in the UK, where interestingly I mapped that on a 1 kilometre grid to see pub density. But your approach has been much more extensive and a much broader range of tags. But what I would be interested in, of the tags you've used, can you identify some which are more valuable for identifying real on-the-ground mapping compared with any others? Do you have any information, any data on that?
Again, I hope to understand your question, because my English is, for me it's better speaking German or Italian language, but okay. Your question is, what is the difference for low-level details and big details? Or I haven't understand? No.
No, it's which of the tags you use, your 40 tags.
40 times? Yes, about important data you speak. Yes, but also I do this. I have this idea. If you import the data, you need not a long time. So after no. Important. Sorry. Yes, important. What are the important tags? Yes. Sorry, I must improve my English before coming. The important tags, now, if you use my software as a Python script, so it's very easy, you can define the list of the tags. So, somewhat I do in the feature and is try to test with other tags, other key, and find if there are difference between. Always if there is some people that think that this is a good idea. If the people think this is not a good idea, I stop my activity. But I can select the key, and after I can compare the data. It's right now? No more question? No. Yeah. Can't problem.
Hi. I think it's similar to a question that was asked. It's something that I noticed myself. When I'm new in an area, it would be nice to find who are the big players so I can meet them and talk to them and learn about the local standards. And I do manually what I think you can do with your tool automatically. I just look at who is editing here, just look at change sets, who has been editing in the last, I don't know, month, just to find names. Could you use that for that, do you think? If I move into a new area, or even I go on holidays, I'm visiting, I want to know who are the 3-4 active people and I want to talk to them to have some contacts.
Yes, every time that you go in a place, you can, every time you go in a place, you can look what are the kind of edits. But if you use my concept of pet location, I think you find the people that are always in the same place. And if you won't play, something that I won't do, but I have too much respect for the OpenStreetMap community, is to start to write some error inside some pet location and calculate how many times the people correct the data to find this is normal in the Wikipedia research. But I have too much respect for the OpenStreetMap community, and I don't want this. I know that some people put bad data inside, like with the same concept of teleatlas, that are some fake data, to understand if the company that used the data used the right OpenStreetMap. But I listen to this story, I don't know. No more question?
I wonder about privacy issue, because it would be interesting to know who are the most valuable player in each area. And I have these needs in my area, but I noticed that I published my location on the main OpenStreetMap website, but it's not available to any other contributor. It's only available to local area user. I mean, my neighbor can see that there is other contributor around, but you cannot see that far away. And I think it's about privacy issue, and maybe some contributors don't want to publish their location. And have you thought about that?
Okay, privacy. All the data are open because I extracted the data from the planet. So I concentrated my research only in the boundary of my land. So if I extend to all the world, I can find other people. And but the privacy, okay, is always a problem. If you study social network and other, there is always this problem. But in this moment, I can't understand who is the problem, because if you put the data in OpenStreetMap, you know that everybody can read it. So this is stop, no more question. I want only say you some very, very short. Okay, you can understand I work for Open Knowledge Foundation, and Open Knowledge Foundation need people in the mailing list about geodata. So please join the mailing list and write sometime. Thank you.
Thank you.